Syrian refugee and award-winning filmmaker is joining the fight against the pandemic. Elizabeth Palmer takes a look at how he's paying it forward.
Hassan Akkad, Syrian English teacher and photographer, filmed his own brush with death.
Oh my God.
Aboard a dinghy full of war refugees fleeing across the Mediterranean that had begun to sink.
We got picked up by the Turkish Coast Guards and we got sent back.
Back in 2011, demonstrators were calling for political reform in Syria, and Akkad was one of them.
Do you imagine shouting freedom and like yelling freedom and yelling rights and end of dictatorship and end of emergency law? Like that's not, you can't do that in Syria. But we did it. We did it. It was so liberating.
Liberating and lethal. Government forces attacked the crowds, and Akkad was arrested and tortured.
They beat me with iron poles, and I always thought that I have a lovely face. So I was trying to protect my face, but they ended up smashing my arms.
That is a grin of relief. Akkad was released, but he knew his only choice was to join the human tide of refugees making for safety in Europe.
I picked Britain because I could speak English.
How did you get to the UK?
So I got a forged passport. I landed in Heathrow and then straight to the border control, and I claimed asylum. And that was the end of a very long and arduous journey.
A journey that first led to a career in Britain as an award-winning filmmaker, and then most recently to a volunteer job as a hospital cleaner in this COVID pandemic.
So from award-winning filmmaker to hospital cleaner, that's quite a leap. What's behind it?
I've lived through crisis before. This is also familiar. And when it kicked off, I had to do something.
Was there something in you that wanted to give back to the country that had given you refuge?
My refugee status is my right as a human being. And I don't have to do anything in return. However, I have to pay it forward for the people of this country, not this country, because it was the people of this country that made me feel welcome. And there were so many shoulders that I leaned on when I struggled in this country. And I didn't hesitate.
Hassan is now something of a local hero, and he's using the publicity to raise money for a charity close to his heart, Choose Love, that helps refugees around the world, and also for his local hospital.
I don't consider myself a hero because, after all, I'm doing this temporarily until this pandemic is over. The heroes are the people who do this full time, the people who clean, and the porters, the ward hosts, and the medical assistants and nurses. They are the actual heroes.
Elizabeth Palmer, CBS News, London.